This box is a special amiibo. You mean it's an amiibo? That's what's special about it. The fact that the damn cereal box is an amiibo. Because have you seen what this thing does in game? You scan it in Mario Odyssey, it says, oh, this is a delicious amiibo. And that's it. It doesn't do anything else. If you think this is special, just wait till you discover the concept of oxygen. And amiibo are funny, right? You know, like these things debuted in 2014. And ever since their initial release, I think they've always kind of had this weird thing about them that's kind of like, what more can these things do? Like, they just aren't really doing a whole lot. Nintendo's been pretty strict about what amiibo do with games, you know? Like, they're kind of just cool-looking Nintendo figures, and, oh, they can unlock bonuses within your Nintendo games. But that's kind of all they really want them to be. Every now and then, Nintendo will kind of push the boundaries of what amiibo do. I think the furthest we ever got was with Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, where amiibo were absolutely required to play. Couldn't even get past the title screen without scanning one. Of course, that was kind of at the height of the whole amiibo craze, you know, 2014, 2015. You know, ever since a decade plus later, Nintendo still puts out a ton of amiibo. But at this point, amiibo seem to be much more just cool, expensive collectible figurines that also happen to connect to Nintendo games. But the thing is, like, you see all these figures they're putting out, and it's like they don't even do anything. The Super Mario Galaxy amiibo figures, they literally just give you, like, a 1-up. And those launched, like, 6 months after the actual game released on Switch, so it's just like, what are we doing here? And that got me thinking, you know, looking at the Mario Galaxy amiibo, they're super nice amiibo, but they just don't do anything in game. But here's the thing, they're still classified as like, oh, this is a Mario amiibo, this is a Rosalina amiibo. So functionally, they still operate as such across all other games. So if you scan those amiibo into Super Smash Bros., it'll be a Mario amiibo or a Rosalina amiibo. And for my money, I think the Mario amiibo is probably like the most bang for your buck kind of amiibo. That'll pretty much work across everything. It'll give you like a unique Mario thing, whatever. Like, you know, it works in Smash Brothers and all these other games that are compatible with a Mario amiibo. You'll get a Mario themed thing from that amiibo. That got me thinking, what about the amiibo figures that barely do anything? Because that's kind of what set amiibo apart from the other Toys to Life figures that have come and passed. Stuff like Skylanders, Disney Infinity, Lego Dimensions. Amiibo work across multiple games, across multiple generations. Like the Donkey Kong amiibo I bought for Smash Brothers 10 plus years ago has unique stuff it'll do in Donkey Kong Bonanza. It doesn't do anything that crazy, but it's still, you know, like that's what makes amiibo kind of unique. So even though when I bought a lot of these amiibo 10 plus years ago and I thought like, man, you know, like I might get like a little bonus here and there in like Mario Kart, or I might get like some coins or something in another game for scanning the amiibo. Oh gosh, I sure do wish this amiibo would do more. In actuality, amiibo turned out to be a bit of an investment. You know, you're still going to be able to unlock things with these figures for years to come. Like, who knows, till the end of time. But there are some amiibo releases that I just think are really weird, considering they just don't really do a whole lot. So, of course, I've already talked about the Super Mario cereal, which is a really cool idea. You know, this launched to coincide with the release of Super Mario Odyssey, and as a cute little gimmick, they put a little NFC reader on the cereal box, so it does function as an amiibo. Now, since this is an amiibo, it does have functionality in a bunch of these games that you can just scan any amiibo and it'll give you a little bonus. Something like Hyrule Warriors, for example. You know, you scan whatever amiibo, it doesn't need to be a Zelda amiibo or anything, and it'll give you like a little extra something. So to be fair, all the amiibo that I'm gonna talk about can do that, but I kind of just want to talk about like functionally as a standalone amiibo, what does it do that other amiibo don't do? This one is quite literally the most useless. It doesn't even do anything special or unique in Super Mario Odyssey. You know, you can scan a regular ass generic amiibo in Mario Odyssey and it'll help find like a location of a power moon. This one does the exact same thing, but it's just kind of cute because it will be labeled as delicious amiibo in the game. So That's something, but other than that, this has absolutely no unique function in any other game. It is a generic amiibo. And, you know, speaking of Mario, I kind of want to talk about the Mario Silver Edition amiibo. Now, this isn't necessarily, like, super useless. It does function as a regular Mario amiibo in most games, and in a couple of games, you do scan it, and you do get, like, a Silver Mario kind of look. Like, that's in the original Mario Maker on Wii U. But I just think I have a problem with this one, and Gold Mario to an extent, because Gold Mario was seen as like this golden goose kind of thing, you know, like it launched as a Walmart exclusive. There was like absolutely no fanfare about it from Nintendo's end. It just kind of started to appear. And a lot of people were freaking out when they first saw like advertisements pop up in Walmart stores about a Gold Mario amiibo coming. This was already around the time that amiibo were really hard to get a hold of. Like you had your common figures like, you know, your Marios, Donkey Kongs, Links and stuff, but you know, a lot of the figures that people were trying to get, like they were impossible to find. So now you're gonna do this gold version. Oh my god, and it's a retailer exclusive. People were going nuts. And the thing with Gold Mario is it's gold. Like that's kind of cool. Like it's like, oh my god, the rare, the special, the unique amiibo. Oh my god, so awesome. But then I just found it weird that a couple months later they put out a silver version of Mario. Why? Now, here's the thing. You have Metal Mario as an actual character in the Mario series. You know, like Power Up in Mario 64, and then you get like Mario Kart, you have Metal Mario. But this isn't Metal Mario. This is Mario Silver Edition. And this is my thing. Like, I think gold makes sense as like a cool little like rare amiibo variant. Silver, it's just, okay, it's just like, all right, we're just going down the line of like recolors at this point. Not even interesting recolors. I mean, like, it's basically just a spray painted Mario. But what's honestly one of the goofiest things about this is that Gold Mario is compatible with one game that Silver Mario is not, and that's Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. For some reason in Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, if you scan Gold Mario, you get a Gold Mario. You scan Silver Mario, it's just regular Mario. I don't know why they didn't include Silver Mario. I just think that's kind of weird, but that does kind of make Gold Mario also a little like kind of functionally useless. Like, yeah, a couple of games feature it so then you can scan in Gold Mario and you see a Gold Mario pop up, but it's really not a ton. However, there is another gold amiibo that is even more useless. Gold Mega Man. So this is a recolor of the Smash Brothers Mega Man amiibo. So literally all it is, you still have the Smash Brothers base on the bottom here. And this was included in the 3DS Collector's Edition of the Mega Man Legacy Collection. You know, that thing was like 50 bucks, and you know, the gold amiibo was kind of like the big hook of that. Other than that, it came with like some postcards like that. It didn't really have a ton going on. And yeah, I was a sucker. I really wanted this amiibo, which kind of sucked because this amiibo came in completely barren packaging. Like in the actual Collector's Edition box, you pulled out this amiibo brand new. It came with like a completely blank cardboard backing. And on top of that, this amiibo, internally, it's literally just a Smash Brothers Mega Man amiibo. There's nothing about this that's like unique in any game. You scan this, you're not gonna get a gold Mega Man anywhere. This was included with the Collector's Edition because Mega Man Legacy Collection on 3DS has some unique challenges that you can play if you scan a Mega Man amiibo. But that's any Mega Man amiibo. You can scan the regular Smash Brothers Mega Man amiibo. You can scan the Mega Man 11 Mega Man amiibo. This thing doesn't unlock anything unique. It's literally just a repaint of Mega Man from Smash Brothers, which is just also kind of funny that like, oh, the cool unique figure included in the Legacy Collection box set, it still has the Smash Brothers logo on it. It's literally just a Smash Brothers piece of merchandise included with a traditional Mega Man thing, which definitely feels a bit cheap, especially considering like 2 years later in 2018, Capcom put out a unique Mega Man 11 amiibo that was just a Mega Man amiibo. This is literally just, yeah, just grab the Smash Brothers one, repaint it, throw it in the box. Now, I did just kind of think about this one, but I never really thought about it till this very moment, even though I've had this amiibo for a while in the box just because it looks super nice. What the f am I gonna do with an Emmy amiibo from Metroid Dread? Now, if you actually want to use this with Metroid Dread, Emmy replenishes your missiles once a day, and you get a bonus missile plus tank. Which makes sense, missiles is what you need to take an Emmy down. But the Emmys are enemies that are introduced in Metroid Dread. They don't make any appearance elsewhere. So, like, what the hell else can you do with this amiibo? Well, if you scan this into Smash Bros. Ultimate, it unlocks a spirit of Emmy, so that's something. If you scan this into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it just counts as like Metroid, just generic Metroid amiibo, so you unlock the Samus costume. But some of these Metroid amiibo, man, I'm just like, man, like, what am I gonna do with this outside of this specific game? What the f is a Psylux gonna do? This one was always like, oh my god, such a silly inclusion. So Pokken Tournament on the Wii U launched in March of 2016, and they have this little bonus that was included with kind of like the first run of games or so, because later versions of the game actually don't include this amiibo card. But I'm sure they wanted to say like, hey, we're including an amiibo card here to kind of get all these amiibo collectors into picking up Pokken Tournament, because what this amiibo card functionally does, it doesn't really give you anything unique. It pretty much just unlocks the character Shadow Mewtwo early. That's it. It doesn't really unlock anything unique. It just gives you Shadow Mewtwo early on. Which I just think is kind of strange, especially considering this is just included with like all the first run of the game. Like, this almost seems like something that makes more sense to be included as like a pre-order bonus or something. Like, there's more incentive rather than just, hey, pick up this game because you'll get an amiibo card that lets you play a character early. Even though everybody who picks up this game will get the amiibo card that can unlock the character early. Like, okay. Here's what's really strange to me, though. Shadow Mewtwo is a character that is exclusive to Pokken Tournament. This is a Pokken Tournament unique version of Mewtwo. Thus, this doesn't count as a Mewtwo amiibo. So if you try to scan this into Smash Brothers, it doesn't count as a Mewtwo amiibo. It doesn't count as a Mewtwo amiibo anywhere. The only game this actually has any functional use in is Pokken Tournament on the Wii U. Even when you go to Pokken Tournament DX on Nintendo Switch, that game removes this amiibo functionality. It has brand new amiibo functionality that's just one of those things where like, oh, scan any amiibo and you'll get a little bonus here and there. So I mean, technically, this is compatible with Pokken Tournament DX on Switch, but at that point, every amiibo is. So yeah, this card is worthless. I always kind of find that cards are the most fun when there's a couple cards available to collect, because at this point, it's just like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, Pokemon and Amiibo just never really meshed together as well as you think they would. You know, you have the Pokemon trading card game and you have all this Pokemon merchandise, but really at the end of the day, the only major Pokemon Amiibo that ever released were kind of just the Smash Brothers ones. However, there was one other Pokemon Amiibo release that was not Smash Brothers related, and it is pretty much just as useless as Shadow Mewtwo. It's the Detective Pikachu amiibo. and I don't have this one, but this thing is massive. Now, Detective Pikachu had a very strange development history. I remember, like, as early as, like, 2013 or so, there was like footage floating around about this weird Pikachu game they were developing for the 3DS, where like Pikachu was like making these weird faces and everything. But then later on in like 2015, 2016, it finally got like shown off, like this Detective Pikachu game, and it was only slated for Japan, and it was only like episode 1 of however many episodes. Then years later, when this version released, they finally put out the rest of the game, and they localized everything in English, and I'm sure this was done because they had the Detective Pikachu movie coming out in 2019, so they were like, well, we need to at least put out the game this was based on. But alongside it came a Detective Pikachu amiibo that was much bigger than normal amiibo, and much like the Shadow Mewtwo amiibo card, it does not function as a Pikachu amiibo anywhere else. If you scan it into Smash Bros. Ultimate, it gives you a Detective Pikachu spirit. And then its function in the Detective Pikachu 3DS game is that it just lets you watch the cutscenes you've already seen. It unlocks a damn cutscene viewer. That's it. Doesn't even work with Detective Pikachu Returns, but who even cares about that? It is crazy to me how Pokemon and Amiibo just never really mingled. Especially considering during the Game Boy Advance days, the e-reader is definitely what you can consider to be kind of the precursor to Amiibo, where you'd scan cards into the Game Boy Advance. And Pokemon was all over this thing. You can see they have some Pokemon cards right here. And on the back, they advertise unique Pokemon trading card game cards. Like, you had official Pokemon trading cards at the time that came with e-reader data that you could scan. And this was all for the damn e-reader, and nobody cared, liked, or remembers the e-reader. But I guess things between the Pokemon Company and Nintendo just got a little too complicated when Amiibo were hitting it big. I think Nintendo and Pokemon were a lot easier to kind of like go hand in hand and work together in the Game Boy Advance days. But, you know, ever since the Pokemon Company became its own massive big entity, while Nintendo still always has a stake in the Pokemon Company, I think it's just harder to collaborate with certain things like Amiibo. Like, if you scan the Pokemon Amiibo, they do appear in Mario Maker, but they don't have unique sound effects like the other characters do. But months later, they added a new costume to the game of like the original 3 starter Pokemon, and those had the sound effects. So to me, that shows it's just like, yeah, like Pokemon can definitely appear in other Nintendo games, and they could probably do this kind of stuff more, but there's probably so much damn paperwork involved that it just takes too long. So it's annoying, but hey, that's the reality we live in. And as we can see, it's one shitty-ass reality. More useless Amiibo right here. Mario Sports Superstars is a terrible game. Launched for the 3DS after the Nintendo Switch launched, and this was obviously one of those later life 3DS games that they kind of just farted out to get content on that system. Lower effort, lower stakes stuff where it's like, hey, just put a Mario Sports game on the 3DS. It'll just fill out our release schedule for that handheld, and it shows that we do still support the 3DS. But alongside it, they did something kind of cool in concept. They released a whole bunch of Amiibo cards for this game, which I think is pretty neat. You know, you kind of have like that whole concept of like, you know, collecting sports cards, baseball cards, all of that. It is really cute. Now, the thing that is kind of funny about these cards is the fact that, like, what? They had to make, like, dozens upon dozens of different cards of all of these different characters playing unique sports that, you know, there may not have been official art of these characters in existence playing certain sports. Like, they didn't have art of Boo playing baseball, so this is just generic artwork of Boo with a baseball plate underneath him. And to me, it's just really obvious looking at, like, yeah, what's kind of the lower quality art made specifically for the Amiibo card. So this is definitely that. And then this is old school art of Bowser. That's at least like a much higher quality render. I mean, this one is infamous right there. That is artwork of Bowser from Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, and they just photoshopped a soccer ball right there, as if it's just like, oh, he's sliding in to headbutt the soccer ball. No, he's getting fucking down. That's what that is. Also, another like generic Photoshop of some old ass render of Luigi there. And I don't fault them too much with this. I honestly think it's more charming and funny, if anything. But it does show, I think they bit off more than they could chew with this, especially considering these don't do a goddamn thing. In Mario Sports Superstars, these Amiibo pretty much unlock like this breakout ripoff mini game where you use like the Amiibo cards as like the thing you control in a breakout type Arkanoid experience, which this is already kind of like a weird use of Amiibo. But on top of that, these cards do not work at all as their respective characters' Amiibo. Like, if you have a Mario card right here, a Mario soccer card, this doesn't work as a Mario Amiibo anywhere. Scan this into Smash Brothers, it's not compatible. Scan any of these anywhere, they're just gonna work as generic Amiibo. They're not gonna work anywhere as like any of these certain characters' Amiibo. And I think that's ridiculous. But, you know, from Nintendo's perspective, probably internally, they consider this, oh, this isn't a Bowser Amiibo, this is a Bowser soccer Amiibo, which is just absurd. I get that these cards are like, you know, inexpensive, you know, oh, you buy a pack for like $6 or something. So like, oh, wow, you could get a Mario Amiibo for that cheap potentially. But it's like, I don't know, like, why not? It's obvious nobody's buying these amiibo for the actual in-game support, so who the hell cares? Why can't this just work as a Mario amiibo? Well, at that point, if I admit nobody's buying these amiibo for the actual in-game amiibo support, then why the hell am I bitching about their in-game amiibo support? The Solaire of a Store amiibo sucks! This is one of the silliest bits of amiibo support in any game. So, you know, this is not a Nintendo published game. This is Bandai Namco. So this is one of the third-party amiibo. But this amiibo support is literally just like a joke. It's literally just like, hey, you can do a pose that's kind of just like an in-joke for the fans, and you can just perform the pose with the amiibo. It's still a pose you can perform in game without the amiibo, but the amiibo you can perform the pose with the by scanning the amiibo, and the amiibo's doing the praise the sun pose. Oh my god! This is the only amiibo compatible with this game. This game has absolutely no other amiibo support outside of that. The Solaire of a Store amiibo does not do anything else in any other game, and it is one of the rarest and most expensive amiibo to buy. Still don't like this more. All right, so Yoshi's Woolly World has some of the best amiibos ever released for it. These little Yarn Yoshi amiibo really kind of made me rethink what an amiibo could actually be. Just the fact that you can make it genuinely like this really well done little plush toy. Like, it's incredible. It was so cool to see that, like, hey, you know, we're doing a Yoshi game where everything's made of yarn. So, yeah, let's put out actual Yarn Yoshi amiibo. It's so damn cool and really adorable. Fantastic stuff. And after Yoshi's Woolly World already launched, they decided to put out an even bigger Yarn Yoshi amiibo, the Mega Yarn Yoshi. All right, it was a lot more expensive. It was a lot bigger. I believe it was exclusive to Toys R Us. And these days, it's also bitch expensive. But here's my thing. I'm not gonna hate on the concept of Mega Yarn Yoshi. I think it's really cool that there is a much bigger version of Yarn Yoshi available. However, here's my problem. It functions the exact goddamn same as these things in Yoshi's Woolly World. You scan Mega Yarn Yoshi, it's the exact same thing. And for being one of the most expensive amiibo, especially at the time, it was like 40 bucks. It's insane that the game that you'd use it primarily with, it just functioned as a regular Yarn Yoshi. That was it. There's only 2 games that actually do a damn thing with Mega Yarn Yoshi that isn't just a generic, oh, it's Yoshi or it's Yarn Yoshi. Mario Maker has a Mega Yarn Yoshi costume where if you scan Mega Yarn Yoshi, you get Yarn Yoshi, but he's slightly pudgier and bigger, I guess. I don't know. And then WarioWare Gold already has like a feature where like you scan amiibo and Wario will like do like a sketch of that amiibo, and there's like something with Mega Yarn Yoshi. That's it. At least Mega Yarn Yoshi was more popular than the QB amiibo, which never left Japan. Yeah, QB from Box Boy. This is one of the most expensive amiibo. And, you know, it's hard to dislike this amiibo just because it is genuinely so basic. It's a goddamn box, but it's kind of endearing in that way. But the QB amiibo doesn't really do all too much. It's compatible with a couple Kirby games because, you know, it's made by the same development team as Kirby. And it does work in Bye Bye Box Boy, but like other than that, I mean, like, yeah, this doesn't really do a whole too awful lot, which, you know, makes sense considering like it is an incredibly rare and expensive amiibo. It's really basic, so it's just like you're not missing out on much without it, but god damn it, that makes me like it that much more. Chibi Robo also doesn't have really jack dick going on. This amiibo was primarily released to coincide with Chibi Robo Ziplash. Ew! But you pretty much do one of these dumbass things where it's just like, oh man, you scan the amiibo and you get powerful. Who cares? You can scan him into Mario Maker, get the costume, but like pretty much every figure was compatible with Mario Maker at the time. And if you scan this into Smash Bros. Ultimate, you get the Chibi Robo Spirit. Wow! But finally, I would make an argument about the Animal Crossing amiibo figures. And not because they don't have value. I think honestly, like the Animal Crossing amiibo figures are compatible with a lot of games. But these aren't the ones that you want. It's all about the amiibo cards. The Animal Crossing amiibo cards are just so much more valuable to me than any of the figures. The figures are just all of like the special NPC characters that, you know, aren't even like your neighbors in Animal Crossing. And that's why, like, you know, when Animal Crossing New Horizons was really hitting it big, everybody wanted Animal Crossing amiibo cards not those damn figures. Which again, like, you know, like the Animal Crossing figures do have value and you can scan them in a bunch of different games. But in the actual Animal Crossing games, like if you want to do anything in Animal Crossing New Horizons, you want the damn amiibo cards because then you can bring in the neighbors that you want. I don't give a about a lot of amiibo. So yeah, those are all the amiibo that I kind of thought were some of the most useless. And I didn't even include a bunch of other ones. Now, you know, to be fair, I think a lot of the third-party amiibo, stuff like the Street Fighter amiibo or the Loot Goblin for Diablo 3, those are also like kind of in these tiers of like, you know, you're not really going to be able to do much with those outside of the one game they were made to coincide with. But still, I think it just shows, hey, don't buy amiibo for the amiibo support. Buy them if you like the figures and you kind of just want something for your shelf. God damn, this is one sad ass shelf.